Like my shirt? Today I wanted to talk about screen names, like old screen names I've had growing up in middle school, high school, college, and now. I think it's funny to look back and see how I've changed, like how the names that I've picked before I thought were cool, but now I've realized they were really ridiculous. The first one is my first ever screen name. It was actually my email address. I remember I was 12 years old and my dad said, "Oh, you can get an email address." And I was like, "Oh." I sat down. I said, "I gotta come up with something cool." This is what I came up with. Cyber Angel 112. I thought Cyber Angel was cool because I've been reading a lot of sci-fi books where they talked about the cyberverse, the cyber world, the internet. And I was like, oh man, I'm a Cyber Angel 112. Because 12 was my favorite number at the time. So that was my first email address. Then I discovered AIM. Those of you who are old enough to remember AOL Instant Messenger, there was like the free client you could get, I believe, and I got it to talk to boys I had a crush on in my high school band. I'm pretty sure I harassed them. I got on their nerves, but at the time I thought I was being super cool. I was like, oh man, I'm talking to friends who are boys. I'm special. My screen name then, very embarrassing. Macabre Known. Yeah, like I was some weird goth person. I'll admit, I was a goth wannabe in high school. I saw all the kids walk around with their giant pants and their huge chains, because being goth was a big thing. I remember like the early 2000s, at least around kids I knew my age at church, co-op groups, things like that. Because remember, I was homeschooled. I didn't go to a regular school. So things might have been completely different for you if you grew up during that time. I'm just telling you what I went through. I wanted to be goth. I didn't have the guts to actually go all out and shave my hair or do whatever stereotypical things people think goths do. I don't know. But when I was 14, 15, I think, I thought, oh, Macabre Known. And to make things even better, one of the guys I had a crush on complimented my screen name. So I was like, that settles it. This is amazing. This name is amazing. So I kept it for a few years. And then no one was using AIM anymore. I might have even used it in college. You know what? I think I might have been Macabre Known in college. Embarrassing. Also, while I was in high school, I started playing RuneScape. Hands up if you remember playing RuneScape during the time where you didn't have to download it. Anyone else? Anyone else play RuneScape in like the mid 2000s? I did. My character's name was Asher Gray. I wanted to be a guy for some reason. I was like a warrior class, level 60 something. Might have even been higher than 60 something. I wanted to log back in and see how good my character was, but they were like, you gotta download. And I was like, download what? This game was online. What I gotta download? What you talking about? So I said, forget about it. Never mind. Asher Gray can live in peace. Then, it might have also been during this time, a little before, a little after, I don't remember. I came up with a name that I used. The name of this YouTube channel. Not like the address of it, not the name. And also a name I used on a lot of forums I was on during high school. Kanimoto. Now, you do not understand how much time I put into coming up with this username. It took me so freaking long to come up with Kanimoto. Because at this time, I was like the stereotypical high school weeaboo, you know? I went to the library, I got stacks of manga, like Fruits Basket, Yu Yu Hakusho. Remember when Shonen Jump was still a physical book? I got like the Shonen Jump copies. I got a lot of copies. I ended up selling most of them. But that's another story. I was a big weeaboo. Nothing against you if you like Japanese culture, honestly. I did not like Japanese culture. I just liked the anime and thought that meant I liked the Japanese culture. So I was a weeaboo. In case you don't know, weeaboo is a person who thinks they know a lot about Japanese culture and thinks they like Japanese culture, but really they're just in love with anime and manga and think that all of Japan is like that, like I did. I had an idea that I wanted something kind of Japanese sounding, but it has to start with a K. It has to be cool. Kanimoto. That's where Kanimoto came from. That's who I was. That's the address of this channel. I hope to someday change it because it's a little ridiculous now, but that's what it was. Okay, now when I got to college and I got Skype, I realized, okay, we can't be having weird names. You're a grown adult. You don't need to be messing around with all these cutesy screen names. Like, well, I'm not gonna give it out now because I still use it, but it was like a slight variation on my actual name. Same thing with my email address. I didn't want it to be like anything too ridiculous because, you know, I was trying to be an adult. I was like, oh, to get a job, you have to have a real email address. No one's gonna take seriously a girl whose email address is Kanimoto or Macabre Known. So that's what I switched everything to. Then I got my Twitter, and I wanted something that sounded cool again, but I didn't want something that was too ridiculous. Now, a friend of mine in college gave me the nickname Samwise Gamgee. She told me I was loyal, you know, always sticking around, which I was. I'll admit that. I was a loyal person in college, kind of like the puppy dog person who follow you along because I had no self-confidence on my own, so I never did anything on my own. I just followed other people around. But she called me Samwise Gamgee. So I was like, I want to use that somehow, but I don't want to call myself Samwise. Oh, I like the name Shay. Boom. Shaywise. But of course, Shaywise was taken on Twitter. Then I thought, what's my favorite number? 15. I like numbers divisible by 5, and 15 is my favorite one of those. So, Shaywise 15. Now, how did I come up with the name of this channel? Sarah Theory. That's thanks to my sister, actually. Sometimes I ramble to my sister about topics that I have no expertise on, but I pretend to have a huge expertise on, and like the ramblings, the ideas I come up with, she calls my Sarah Theories. So that's where Sarah Theory came from, and here we are.